Hey guys, Jola Pypno-Crapanzano here, Certified High Performance Coach. Welcome to Coaching Journey with Jola interview series. Today, I'm taking you to sunny California to meet one of my heroes, role model, unbelievably amazing coach, Paula Moyer. Hi, Paula.
Hi, Ella. It's my honor to be on your show. Thank you so much for inviting me. I love you to pieces. I love your journey. I love how much energy and effort you put out into the world to bring amazing and good things. So you inspire me every single day. So I thank you for the work that you're doing.
Oh my goodness, and this is what makes me always so humble being in your presence, because the thing that I think about you direct into me, and I'm still the baby in diaper comparing to you. Love you, love you, love you. Listen, guys, Paula. Who is Paula? Well, Paula is so many people. First of all, one word is the major inspiration in my life. But Paula is not only my fellow certified high performance coach, she's certified fitness trainer. Paula is also creator and CEO of Hero Mom Legacy Academy. And she runs these amazing groups on Facebook, which we'll talk about in a bit, for people who want to really get out of this life being unhealthy and unhappy and just live fully vibrant and really exciting lives. But before we get there, I would love to tell you a few words how we met originally, because it was about 4.5 years ago when I had no idea what high performance was. And I was actually a part of high performance group coaching, where my mentor Vito had Paula as her assistant coach. And every single time I had a session and Paula was, on, I was just like, holy macro, I want to be like this when I grow up. And guess what? A couple of years later, I got into this. I got certified and high performance coach. And now for 2 years, I'm proud to say we do the same amazing work with the same amazing curriculum. So very proud and happy. However, let me also say this. Paula is also a member of elite group coaches that work for growth.com. That's like the mother organization for our certified high performance coaches. So once again, Paula, welcome. I let you talk from now on, I promise.
Thank you. What an amazing introduction and a little background on me. And I have to say too, Yola, can I just give you some nods back, and hopefully you guys aren't minding our little love fest here going on, but I just have to express gratitude for Yola, because every time she showed up on those group coaches, whenever there was an opportunity for someone to that group coaching, for someone to volunteer something or ask a question, she was always raising her hand, really driven, always wanting to learn, always wanting to grow, really pushing herself, wanting to be challenged. And so likewise, Yola, while I was a coach on that group coaching platform, you always inspired me as somebody who was really just going after it. And this is what we see in high performers, high performance coaching. What Yola is masterfully certified in and practicing and serving in the world with is for ambitious people. So coaching sometimes can be for people who are really stuck in just in life, like really not enjoying life. But high performance coaching is kind of on a different level, in the sense that not better, not necessarily than other options, just depends on where you are, but specifically for the highly ambitious, highly driven person who really wants to get unstuck from a place that they're stuck in, because they're forging forward. And so the curriculum she has, the ability to coach people through, will help you break through those barriers to continue that accelerated momentum. And she's amazing at it, because she's amazing as a client in it. And if you're not a client first, it's really tough to really understand the process, but she really invested her time and energy to understand the process from the feel it side. So now she can serve and give it side, which is really amazing.
Yeah, and let's just add to this that we both have a honor and pleasure and unbelievable, opportunity to serve in a program that's highest ranked, has highest ranked in the world satisfaction rating, 9.6 out of 10. That's unheard of in other coaching types. Well, anyhow, I'd love to talk about Paula, because that's my main topic of this interview, guys. I picked Paula for many reasons, but one of them, like I said, she's an amazing inspiration because, you know, we're trying to bring you into the new decade with the new ideas, with the new things for you to think about. How can you get better and achieve more and do more and whatnot? And think about it, about 10 years ago, Paula wasn't that person who I talk today. And when I let her talk about it, however, I just want to, just to frame it, 2009, Paula is what, about 185, size 20. And right now, Paula is about 130 pounds, size 6. Paula's mind, Paula's body is a different person. And yet in heart, I'm sure you were the same person, right? So please tell me, how this all started for you, and when the first time in your life did you realize that not only you need to change yourself, but the second part of this question is, when did you actually knew that you want to help others?
Such a great question. Okay, so this all started on my 39th birthday, actually. I was very unhappy with certain aspects of my life, which I'm sure many of you can relate. You might have some areas where you're very happy. As a mom of 2 children, I was very happy about being a mom, but other areas just were unhappy enough where I started feeling trapped and started feeling as though I had no hope. So it was kind of that situation where there's these 2 fears that you have to face: the fear of continuing what you're doing, or the fear of going into the unknown to make a change. And at some point when you're having those 2 fears and you're trying to go one way or another, you want a different result. One of them is going to get higher than the other. One of them is going to be more than a greater fear than the other. So for me at that time, when I was 39, staying where I was in the situation that I was in my life, was more fearful than doing things that I didn't know what I needed to do to move forward. So I made a commitment to myself on my 39th birthday that by my 40th birthday, I was going to be healthy. That was my number one first focus. Physically, I was very unhealthy and had been for almost 20 years. And so I needed to stop making excuses and expecting my mom to save me, my dad to save me, my husband to save me, my kids to save me, somebody else to scoop me up in my life and just do the things for me that was going to make my life better. So that's when I focused on my health. And once I started focusing on my health and turning that around, everything changed. It changed because I started having self-belief. I took responsibility, first of all, and did not let myself blame other people for where I was at, and did not let myself expect other people to save me from myself, essentially. And so I had to change my mindset to step in and just say, okay, if I don't do it, nobody will. And started taking the action. Didn't know what was going to happen. And little by little by little by little, things started unfolding. The pounds started melting off. What ended up happening then, Jola, was that other people started getting inspired by me. Okay, this person who had been obese and depressed for 20 years, couldn't even look myself in the mirror. And suddenly other people are asking me, how are you creating success? Right. How did you do that? And I thought, I don't know. I came to the gym and I did what that trainer told me to do. I mean, that's it. Like, that's all I did. But it wasn't it. So if you've ever created success in your life, make sure you take the credit where credit is due. And I don't mean like in a prideful ego way. What I mean is you cannot have success without having to do certain things to get there. And that has to come from within. And when we don't recognize our own efforts, then we don't let ourselves believe that we're capable of these things and to do more of these things. So at some point I had to recognize that I did that. And then I asked myself, well, what else can I do? And so now I have hope, I have ambition, and I have aspirations, which I never had before. And so when opportunities came up, how did you do that? I want to turn around and help and serve, because so many people were in my life helping me to get where I was. I had my little group training, little other ladies who were trying to lose weight in the same group that I was with, working with the trainer cheering me on all the time, my teammates cheering me on all the time, being at the gym, people giving me lots of nods and recognition, the gym employees, all cheering me on, and all these people believing in me that I could keep moving forward. And so that was huge. The community was really huge. So I wanted to be able to be part of that community who then turns around and helps others believe in themselves. And that's kind of where that started.
Yes, it's actually amazing. This topic of getting rid of the victim mentality, of that blaming others mentality, comes across this interview so many times. It's unbelievably important to be able to understand it's all up to us. What we get in life, what we achieve in life, it's ultimately up to us. And interesting, that's why I feel that we have one more other thing in common, because even though I was never really depressed, I never actually had any issues with weight until about 4 or 5 years ago, when I hit my little low tide and I had to really say to myself, enough is enough. No more asking people to crop my pictures from the waist up. I don't want to be the whole body. And this is when I got my introduction to fitness. And this is actually where we met, with this coming from fitness wellness into high performance, general high performance. Because in high performance, physiology and energy is only one small little pillar, right? Okay, so that's amazing. So I understand how you came up with this. So later on, you developed, or maybe we should tell people, how do you actually achieve your success? Because in your particular case, you are using keto, correct? But of course, we're not promoting keto in any shape or form. We're just talking about this as one of vehicles that people can use. But because a lot of people may not know, tell us how keto works, intermittent fasting and all this, how this works for you, and how people are able to melt pound a week.
Yes, such a good question. And just to be clear, I didn't start off with keto. I never heard of that. I never knew. I mean, when I was younger, like in my 20s, I heard about Atkins, but I didn't know what that was. And so I tried everything under the sun because I had struggled with my weight for a couple of decades. And so I kind of did it old school when I finally lost my weight, not knowing anything else. I literally just started cutting back the brownies, from large brownies and large king-size Snickers bars to small bite-sized ones until they were just completely gone. Instead of, 4 slices of pizza, 2 and down. But it took me a long time doing that way, plus 3 hours of working out at the gym a day, 5 days a week. And that's just insane. Like, that's unsustainable. And it's really, honestly, not very healthy. To be honest with you, it's very stressful on the body. So it wasn't until I had results and started putting myself in a leadership position and studying and learning more, because people were asking me how. I wanted to have the integrity to understand how to give great information and knowledge and teaching. So I started studying, and I went on a multi-year studying sort of journey, and found lots of really, really great options. And so the one that I landed on that works best for me and that I now coach is one based on a low carb eating plan. And it's low carb is sometimes synonymously used with keto. Keto is a kind of its own specific thing, but it's also now in the mainstream, sort of also coupled together with low carb, because there's a lot of similarities and overlap. Keto in its true form is really no carbs, 0 carbs.
Oh, okay.
And so it's, anything that doesn't have carbs in it is in the keto category. It doesn't really matter the quality of the food or anything like that. It just has to be about no carbs. On the flip side, low carb promotes carbs, but carbs that are on the lower count, or high fiber. So lots of vegetables that have a really high carb fiber count, so that the actual conversion of carbs into the digestive tract is very, very low. So we understand that we need lots of veggies, we need a lot of variety, we need a lot of those nutrients, but we do it from very strategically. So we're eating the lower carb, the net carb, the lowest net carb vegetables, with the highest carbs in fiber, veggies that give us lots of really great digestive health, but also help us what happens with the low carb or keto. Again, we promote more of the low carb and very high quality foods, so organic, grass-fed or grass-finished, as much as high quality as your budget can allow. And then what happens is, when you get into this state of low carb, it's called keto because it's short for ketosis. So what happens when you get into ketosis is that your fat cells that are stored in your body break open and into 4 parts. And one of the parts is a ketone. And what happens is that ketone goes through your blood and into your brain and starts to energize your brain. It's very highly nutritional for your brain. And so this is why people get more clarity, less brain fog, more energy. And then what also really is great that happens is that your body starts using its excess fat for fuel, if you keep your carbs at the proper count for your body. So then when your body is using your excess fat for fuel, then you no longer have to eat high carb foods in order to get that energy source. So you're retraining your body. Its primary desire is to get fuel from carbs. So you're retraining your body to say, get fuel from the secondary source, which is stored fat. So that's why once your body gets into this ketosis state, when you're eating low carb, it just starts melting, because just being alive, just existing, creates huge fat burn. So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. I just want to unpack and say three things that came up at me. So number one, I love how you brought it up that, everything always comes from little steps, right? We have to first narrow the big elephant. We got to eat it in little bites. So if you were just to go from, something big and try to do it immediately, you get overwhelmed. But if you, like you said with the brownies, you start making the sizes smaller and smaller, and finally you're able to say, I don't want them anymore. And that goes with everything in life, right? But now another thing that you mentioned, and that's what I love about you, that you're all about this balance and finding the golden middle, right? Even with ketosis, like for me, it would be unsustainable. I don't think I could live without my carbs. I love carbs too much. I don't know if I could technically go with your program ever. However, I love it because what it tells me is that, and should tell everyone, that really food is the fuel for everything, not just for our body, but it's for brain.
Mm-hmm.
After a stretch of the holidays, when we overeat and when we do all these crazy things to our bodies, we are in this brain fog. We're like in a coma, food coma, right? Thanksgiving, everybody is like, what? And so, it's so important to have that, that balance in life. And I so, appreciate the fact that you shared it with the audience. Tell now, please, because you help women, mostly you call them hero moms, to live those full lives of vibrancy and happiness. Tell us how your Hero Mom Legacy Academy works, and if people are interested, where they can find you and how they could work with you maybe with this.
Yes, thank you. Well, first of all, my website is paulamoyer.com. So there you're going to find all the information on Hero Mom stuff. And right now, if you're watching this around the holidays in 2019, we're having some really great specials going on, getting you geared up for starting off the new year the way you really actually want to feel, how you want to feel, the way you want to create your reality. And so what's going on is that our Hero Mom Legacy Academy is designed to address the body, the mind, and the consciousness. And we do that through our 6 pillars. So we have, I call them like intelligences is what we're calling our pillars. And so I'm just going to read them to you. There's emotional intelligence. We need to know what's going on emotionally with us, because emotions are very real and they feel very true and very authentic. But if we don't understand the difference between our higher self emotion versus our old conditioning emotion, we might think that a fear, because it feels so real, is the right way that we should lead with. And if we can't distinguish the difference there, then we could get stuck repeating patterns from the past. So emotional intelligence is really key.
Yeah.
And then time intelligence. Many women coming in, when they first come into the Hero Mom program or to any coaching program or anything where they're trying to improve their lives, they sign up for something because they very, very much want those results, but they do not manage their time in such a way where they carve out the space to do the things that have to be done in order for them to be who they want to be. So being able to have time intelligence to manage their time, cut out what the distractions are or the things that can pull them backwards, and make space for the things that are going to move them forward.
Yes.
That's super huge. Body intelligence, this is all about the body movement, having a vibrant, healthy body, and making sure that we're adding movement in such a way that it helps us move gently towards our goals. We're not punishing ourselves with fitness. We're supporting our goals with fitness. And then relationship intelligence. That one's really huge because life is relationships. When it comes to creating a legacy, it always is going to boil down to your relationships. Those are the things that you absolutely will not want to have regrets about. So we need to make sure that our relationships are going well, that they're balanced, that we're creating the legacy we want with our relationships, because that is a skill set. It is not something that comes naturally. If we want great relationships, we have to understand how to build those. And then courage intelligence is super huge. We're trailblazing. We're going into spaces beyond where we have ever been. And so we're doing things we've never done. And there's lots of things we're going to bump into that could create fears for us because it's effort, it's change. And if we don't understand how to be courageous and step into these things and work through and navigate these fears, we're going to end up going backwards, back to what's familiar, even if it's not the best option for us. Future intelligence is really understanding your future identity. And this is why we call it legacy, because it's about that who you are when you're 100 years old, looking back at your life, that version of you who's figured it out with no regrets, Who is she? How did she create that? How are we going to support you making that your reality, one choice at a time? So if you don't have that future identity, if you don't have the future intelligence to understand what you're fighting for, what you're training for, then we could get caught up in the moment of, I want this right now. Oh, it's really hard. Now I don't want it anymore.
Yes.
Because we don't understand how that's setting us up for the next step to create that reality.
Yes.
So those are our pillars, and that's what people experience. And we take you gently through, like Jola said, it's in bite-sized chunks. So we know that going straight to low carb can be really extreme for some people, but we have that option for those who are just ready to cut off the old way and go right into the new way of being. But we also have gentle progressive stages that we built in over a 90-day period of time. And we have carb ups in there too, because we do not believe that people should be in a sustained state of ketosis. That's also not healthy for your body. So even though we know you lose weight there and people are really excited about that and they just want to stay there, keep losing weight, at some point it becomes counterproductive. So we have to learn, how do we take you out of that safely with higher carbs? You'll be happy to know about that. And then safely get you back in so you can keep that momentum. And that's all trained in there. We have a nutritionist, we have another certified high performance coach, and myself, all of us supporting you guys in that group.
So that's amazing. So that's just like a nice little intro into a holidays. You know, a lot of people will be at the end of 2019 going into 2020. I need to lose weight. Well, here you go. You got an amazing option if you are into it. So Paula, I would love to just again unpack a little bit what you said, because the 6 pillars of your Hero Mom Academy, they go so beautifully together with your other life, right? With Certified High Performance Coaching, where we use the 6 pillars of high performance, and how nicely it is all connected, right? Like, we're trying always to reach our highest self, the future highest self that always gives us the best actually advice for ourselves. Like, what can we do in life today to bring us where we want to be? And the ego that's sitting inside of us say, oh, it's too hard, we don't want it. I love that how you nicely, you know, prepare this together for your clients with combination of healthy lifestyle with your low carb diets and whatnot. I don't want to take too much time of you, but before I let you go, I would love you to tell people, as this amazing coach, tell people why to hire a coach. Why should you have a coach in your life? I would love to hear your advice on this.
Okay, and I love this question, Jola, so I'm so happy that you're asking me. It's really important. For the longest time, I didn't have a coach. I was trying to do, get the results that I wanted in life. Just, we have YouTube, we have Google, we have books at the library, we have all these free ways that we can learn things on our own. So why spend money and hire a coach? And this is the reason why. Because we have the bandwidth that has a limitation of what we can be experts in ourselves. So depending on your roles in life, if your role, your professional role or your expert role isn't how do I accelerate myself through fears and have breakthroughs and get unstuck, if that's not your expert knowledge, then trying to become an expert to coach yourself through something that you don't know how to coach yourself through with things that you can't even see yourself is going to either make you move at a snail's pace, if you even move at all through the things. So as I said earlier, we have these things that feel so authentic and real. I like to refer to that as our human hardwiring. These are things that are either conditioned into us or we're just born with it. And it feels very, very real. And it keeps pulling us back to wanting to do it that way. A coach is going to help you describe what your goals are, where you want to go, what you want to be. Plus, they know what things you're going to have to break through in order to get there that you don't know about. So if you want to accelerate your pace, if you want to guarantee that you're going to move forward, you need to have a coach. A coach's job is to know what your blind spots are to understand what your potential is. So they help you accelerate because they fast forward you by giving you frameworks, tools, and concepts and learnings and calling you out when you're hiding behind old conditioning or human hardwiring, so that you can operate less on an emotional or just like your neural pathways, like the rutted neural pathways, so that they can help you get off of that and go into that more higher consciousness state. We call it the higher self way of thinking. Some people think that that's more on the spiritual side. Maybe that's spiritual guidance. But however you look at it, it's not your instinctive way of doing it. And the coach draws your attention to help you hear more of that higher thinking, of what your higher self actually really wants for you, so that you sort of have that, it's like the devil and the angel on your shoulder, right?
Yes.
To help you stop battling yourself and give you permission to go that way that's more aspirational and more ambitious, even if it makes other people uncomfortable, because that's your truth.
Yes.
And sometimes truth is fearful because of what we have to walk through to get to it.
Yes.
But that's why you need a coach. They accelerate you. They are going to identify your blind spots, and they're going to be the one person in your life who knows your potential and is going to keep pushing you towards that.
Yes. And like, so many times I would just add to this, people feel that, yeah, I can do it on my own. But if you ask yourself a questions, well, have you been able to, get yourself until now where you want it to be? If the answer is yes, congratulations. But if you haven't and you try everything, all these trainings that you do, sometimes courses and so on, it's like a small little pattern interrupt, right? We need that consistent work. Paula, thank you so very much. You are like a light in my life. Really, once again, thanks for your time. Before you go, you mentioned your website is www.paulamoyer.com. What's your handles on social media if people like to find you on Facebook or Instagram?
So you can find me as Paula Moyer or Paula Moyer Hero Mom on either one.
Wonderful. Have a fantastic day. From the bottom of my heart, the best of luck with everything you do. And I really hope to see you soon, sometimes again in our certification week or wherever the life will throw us. Thanks, Paula.
Thank you, Jola. I appreciate you.
Bye-bye.